Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Bregaton. Let's conversate. We'll start with Gemmel Hawks here. A strange figure towers over the bar. A huge ungainly man with skin so milky white that his blue veins are visible even from a distance. His bald head is equal parts lumpy and pitted. His blood-filled eyes stare impassively out at you from beneath his pale brows. The glass in the albino's large, clumsy hand looks dangerously delicate, as if one twitch of those callous fingers would be enough to crush it. A gold medallion engraved with a tankard gleams around his neck. What'll it be? Tell me what you have. So now all of these are identified. So we have the Ratcatcher's Goggles. These goggles grant the wearer a +2 bonus on damage rolls against swarms. That's pretty good early on. A Righteous Exorcist Bracers. These bracers grant the wearer a +1 morale bonus on damage rolls against demons. Read that last time. A Red Dragon Helmet. This helmet grants its wearer fire resistance 10. Additionally, 3 times per day, the wearer can breathe out a blast of fire dealing 3d4 fire damage in a 15-foot cone. Successful reflex saving throw DC 15 halves the damage. Magnificent Plume Hat. This hat grants its wearer a +5 bonus to maximum hit points. And Dashing Cavalier's Gloves. These gloves grant the wearer a +1 morale bonus on attack rolls. In addition, they also grant a +2 bonus on damage rolls while mounted. So we'll give those to Lan. And he sells the Gloves of the Neophyte. Whenever the wearer of these gloves casts a cantrip or a first level spell, that spell deals 1 additional point of damage per dice rolled. Dark Veil. Once per day you may use this item to grant your party total concealment against ranged attacks for 1 minute. Dark Omen. If the wearer of this ring has the ability to cast spells spontaneously, it grants him the ability to cast the following spells: Ray of Enfeeblement, Scare, Ray of Exhaustion, Fear, and Waves of Fatigue. To cast a spell, the wearer still needs to have a spell slot of the required level. Bag of Holding Small. The Bag of Holding opens into a non-dimensional space. Its inside is way larger than its outside dimensions. Regardless of what is put into the bag, its weight doesn't change. This allows party to carry additional 100 pounds of weight without suffering any negative consequences. I'm going to grab that. And the spicy pastry recipe. I don't think I've seen this before. Bottomless Mug. Drinking from this mug gives a character a +2 bonus on saving throws against fear effects for 1 hour. Taking another drink prolongs the effect. When used by a monk with the Drunken Master archetype. Okay, so this was added with the newest patch. The mug also restores 1 drunken key point and makes the monk's melee attacks deal an additional 1d8 damage, while his drunken power feature is active. A character can drink from this mug up to 5 times per day. Additionally, after the drunk condition wears off, the character gains the hangover condition and receives a -2 penalty to armor class and a -2 penalty on will saves for 1 hour. The hangover condition can be removed after a rest. The Drunken Master archetype for the monk was added to the latest DLC. The huge albino's blood-filled eyes stare impassively at you from behind the bar. What'll it be? Who are you? The albino subtly takes your measure with his red eyes, and finally with a gentle sigh says, Gemmel Hawks, Vampire. Also, we found a low religion check. As I mentioned earlier, the medallion around his neck, you can identify it as a Caden Kalian medallion. Are you really a vampire? Gemma gives you a long look of reproach, and then grudgingly answers, no. He's a Dampier. And if your main character is a Dampier and talk to him, he gives you, I think, 10 inflict light wound potions for healing. Which is a lot. How did you end up in the Crusader City? How did anyone end up here? How did you? Or them? With a huge hand, the Tavern Keeper gestures at the ragtag group assembled in the room. The world is big, but still there isn't a place for everyone. People who no longer have a life anywhere else, they end up here. Any news in the city? The albino looks around. There are demons everywhere, and you showed up. Are there any places in the city worth visiting? Being places that normal people usually stay well away from, and there are plenty, like the Pataxian wine cellar. Gamma pauses for effect, like the name of the place alone should make you quiver in fear. It once belonged to Pataxian trading house. Then King Arvedi came to power in Patax, and property started changing hands. Soon after, the seller's shop assistant was found in a ditch. Not all of him, mind, just his head. Numerian gangsters had taken possession of the place. They wanted to sell something stronger than wine on the street, and they ended up on the gallows. Then King Arvedi's number was up. So now the store stands empty and unclaimed. People say that a headless ghost wanders the place at night, moaning ghoulishly, "Ooh." So, King Arvedi got the axe in the previous Pathfinder game, Kingmaker. By the hands of the main character. After coming to the end of his story, and usually long by his standards, the Tavern Keeper takes a swig from his tankard. Just don't ask me how he makes any noise with no head. I wasn't there. I just tell it like I heard it. I see you're not one for talking. Gemma gives you a long, mournful look and says nothing. I have to go. The Tavern Keeper sees you off with a subtle twitch of his pale eyebrows. Let's talk to Stone Bain. The dwarf resembles an abandoned citadel, on whose high crumbling walls are still holding fast, whose empty, lightless windows make it clear that all inside is dead. Oh, it's you. Good work back there in the Great Garrison. Name's Stone Bain. You've heard rumors about me. His face, which looks like it had never known anything as carefree as a smile, grimaces. Just so you know, everything people say about me, it's true. Well, what do people say about you? They say I'm a traitor, as bad as a Rilu Vorlesh. That I'm a disgrace, even among the ranks of the condemned. That Queen Galfrey should have never spared me. That I belong on the gallows. Why do they hate you so much? You really don't know. Satan gives you a long, morose look, then sighs. I'm the reason why the Crusade forces are holed up in fortresses on the edge of the world wound, instead of bringing the fight to the demons. We used to have a foothold in the wound, the mighty, unassailable city of Dresden. We used to have it until it fell, and all because of my stupidity. I gave the enemy our main citadel. I was tried. They wanted to execute me, and rightly so, but the Queen intervened. She said that I should live and fight in order to undo what I had done. So that's how I live. Decade after decade, fighting in the condemned. Dwarf shrugs. As you can see, I have fixed nothing. I have earned no one's forgiveness. Are you going to spit in my face too? It wouldn't surprise me. You keep living and fighting with no hope of anything better, because that's what the Queen ordered you to do. There is honor in that. You may be right, but you know, even stone and iron get worn down over time. I know what it means to live a regimented life. I cannot rely on my discipline alone forever. I pray to Torag, though he does not listen. My body breaks before my conscience does. The whole city fell because of you. How is that possible? What do you mean, how? The night glares at you from beneath his furrowed brows. You don't trust the word of a condemned, who asked somebody else, like my little brother Joran. You still don't believe it, what's it to me? But if you're about to ask me to recount the story of my disgrace for the 1000th time, don't. You really don't have any friends. I couldn't have survived this long if I were completely alone. Joran, my little brother, he keeps me going. He's never abandoned me. Everyone else shies away from me like they might catch what I've got. Even fighters in the condemned console themselves by thinking, I got stripped of my rank, but at least I'm not Staunton. Commander Tirabade seems to be the only person in the whole army who remembers that I'm a soldier and not a drudge. He has no qualms about taking me into battle. She's had some mud flung at her in the past, or so I hear. That's why she tries to keep an open mind about people. It's no surprise that she's the only one to hold on to her sense of reason in this farce. So many years in the Condemned. Surely you've paid your penance by now. That's not up to me to decide. My life is in the Queen's hands. He falls silent for a moment. Then in a trembling voice he adds, "The Condemned isn't the worst part. All these years I have prayed to Torag for forgiveness. Countless times I've gone to his priests. Countless times I've kneeled before his altar. If only the father of Dwarvenkind would answer my prayers just once. Not to restore what I've lost, but just to tell me that I'm still one of his children. But it seems he doesn't give a darn about me. What can I expect from mere mortals when my own god doesn't think I deserve redemption?" I need to talk to the elf who calls himself the Storyteller. Do you know where I can find him? The Storyteller? Staunton strokes his beard in thought. A strange old fellow, that one. He used to sit with me for hours, asking about all sorts of things. He never offered judgment or comfort, he just listened. At first, I wanted him and his questions as far away from me as possible. But later I realized that talking to him did ease my burden a little. I hope he is alive and well. He's completely blind, and feeble too, so if he's alone in the city, well, you probably know what that means. I do know one place he might be. Look for him in the Black Wing. It's a library. Here, I'll show you where it is on the map. I don't know what use a library is to a blind elf, but he loved the place. He'd sit there day and night. I have to go. Go on then. Maybe we'll see each other again. We most definitely will. Staunton greets you with a dour nod. Yado! I believe that help is already on the way. The Queen will not leave us to die. And Vasily Rathmus. A stout old man with a fuzzy gray beard mumbles a prayer. He looks as tired as everyone else in the tavern, but determination is stamped upon his haggard face. What can I do for you? Who are you? Vasily Rathmus, rector of the local temple of Abadar. The temple is gone, though. If we snooze here for much longer, the city will be lost as well. Who is that boy with you? This one? Yada the Shepherd, my apprentice. He's a smart boy, and his faith is strong. He serves Aristil, though, but there's still something he can learn from an old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric when he gets a little older. What kind of help can I expect from you? First, I sell scrolls. I have a lot of them. Something for every emergency. Second, while you're here in the tavern, I can read one for you. Guaranteed, no surprises. You better not go into the city without a cleric. I won't be going there myself. I'm too old. My powers are needed here. Show me the scrolls you're selling. He does sell a lot of scrolls. Let's go ahead and grab this Lesser Extend Metamagic Rod. This rod grants its wielder the ability to make up to 3 spells they cast per day extended, as they're using the Extend spell feat. Lesser rods can be used with spells of 3rd level or lower. Very useful in the early game. He also sells Bracers of the Wizard. These bracers grant the wearer an armor bonus of +2, just as though they were wearing armor, and a +3 competence bonus on all knowledge arcana checks. An Icy Protector. This ring grants the wearer cold resistance 10. If the wearer has the Ice Plant Hex, which Camellia does, it also grants him a +2 natural armor bonus to armor class. It's a fantastic ring for Camellia. Guardian of Life. As long as the wearer of this amulet is under the effect of the Death Ward spell, you get a +2 morale bonus to armor class against the attacks of undead creatures. They use any single target Cure Wounds spell on a target whose current number of hit points is 0 or less. The target is healed for an additional number of hit points equal to the number of hit dice. You need Alchemist kits and Scroll Scribers kits to craft spell or scrolls and potions. Hey, a ring of powerful blood magic. When the wearer of this ring is blood raging and casts a spell, the save DC of this spell increases by 1. And Daredevil boots. This pair of magical boots shimmers in vibrant shades of blazing red and burning orange when they are held up to the light. These boots allow the wearer to gain extra maneuverability while moving through hazardous areas. By using acrobatics to avoid provoking an attack of opportunity, the wearer gains a +5 competence bonus on mobility checks. And whenever they make a successful mobility check while the ability is active, they gain a +1 bonus on attack rolls for 1 round. I'm going to buy a few scrolls here. So we want a Sword Protection from Fire Communal. It's a little pricey, but it'll be worth it. These are also pretty pricey. So I won't buy these yet. But I will also buy a Scroll of Resist to Acid Communal. How about Protection, not Resistance? Oh, that's okay. Grab that too. Alright, she gets this rod for now. And let's see. Go in here and talk to Jernoff and Foreign Autumn Haze. Jernoff. A young man in a well-worn traveling clothes, and a simple wooden symbol of Aristol on his chest, is efficiently cutting a linen robe into strips to use as bandages. Despite his visible exhaustion, he works with zeal, singing some tune about red braids and ripe sheaves of wheat under his breath. He raises his warm, chestnut-colored eyes to you. Are you one of the Crusaders? Thank you for defending those of us whose talents lie off the battlefield. I'm Jernoff, servant of Aristol. Pleased to meet you. What are you doing? I only took my holy orders recently. My god has only bestowed a little of his power upon me as yet. I'm sorry to say that the number of wounded fighters in this tavern is far beyond my power to heal. But there's a reason people say, have faith in the gods, but look to yourself first. I may not be able to help the wounded with magic, but I can at least cut up bandages. Are you from around here? No. I was just passing through Canabras. I was sailing down that old man of ours, the Great Selin River, to a village by the name of Chili Creek. I happened to land in the city on the eve of the festival. I'm ashamed to say I decided to stay for a day to enjoy myself. I ended up staying in the city longer than I'd bargained for. Chili Creek, where is that? It's a small fishing village. It's not even marked on some maps. But people do live there. What they don't have is a priest. They have no one to heal their wounds, no one to offer prayers for a good catch, no one to give their dead a dignified burial. And the world wound is a stone's throw away. So I'll be setting sail for Chili Creek, to serve my god and my people. Once we've held Canabras, I'll be going there. If by the grace of the good gods we all survive this, you should come and visit me sometime. You'll find the village here, on the bank of the river. The priest marks Chili Creek on your map. Aren't you, a young and inexperienced cleric, afraid to go to the border of the world wound? I won't lie, I am afraid, but what can I do? Those villagers are simple people, like you and me. Every day of their short lives is spent doing hard, honest work. That's exactly the kind of life I want. Something simple but meaningful. If I had centuries ahead of me, like elves and some other races do, I might have spared some 50 years or so to travel around the world, the young man says with a smile. Or maybe even 100, why not? But I don't have time to spare. I want to spend my short life in the place where I'm needed most. Even if it's dangerous. Especially if it's dangerous. I could use the help of a cleric. Jernoff makes a helpless gesture. Erso knows I'd be glad to help you, but it's no use. My spells are depleted, They have no training in potions or scrolls. See this robe I'm cutting up for bandages? It's the second to last one. I have to go. May Air still watch over you. It's good to see you. I look at you and I think, we've got people like that on our side. There's still hope. Canabras has suffered a terrible calamity, but still it goes on. Born Autumn Haze. A tall, fragile-looking elf sits in front of you, eyes closed. He's pale as a ghost, his arm wrapped in a blood-stained bandage. You spot other bandages on his body under his clothes. Even in such a miserable state, he manages to keep calm. Raising his eyes to meet yours, he says faintly, I am Forn Autumn Haze, at your service. His pale lips are reddened by blood, but you see no signs of pain or fear in his gray eyes. Do you need help? After giving you a cold, intense look, he shakes his head. Do not trouble yourself on my behalf. A local healer tended to me. Besides, I come from a resilient, hardy people. My body will endure both the wounds and the poison delivered through them. Who are you? My name is Forn Autumn Haze. I've come here from Kionin because I'm a hunter, and all minions of evil are my quarry. I won't say more than that, if you don't mind. We're strangers, of different races and cultures. I'd rather not tell you more than is necessary. Who wounded you? A sinner and accomplice to demons. The quarry I'm hunting in this inhospitable place. I am Donald. You can trust me. I might be able to help you. After a brief pause, Forn says, it'd be impolite to refuse such a direct and friendly offer. Who's your quarry here in Mendev? I was hunting a fugitive, a Deskerite by the name of Kalesa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among my noble kind. I managed to catch up to her in Canabras, and I wounded her. Then demons appeared and the city was engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle that ensued, and couldn't free her soul from its service to her dark masters. He expresses no anger or hatred as he speaks, only compassionate sorrow. I'm sorry for your misfortune. I hope things will turn out differently next time. He purses his lips. There's no need for pity. Our ancient kind is blessed with great longevity. We gain a deeper understanding of the world than other races. We learn our lessons better than anyone. That goes for learning from our mistakes as well. I survived, which means I'll be more prepared when next we meet. I wish to aid you in your hunt. Horn covers his eyes warily. I thank you, but this is my mission. I'm used to facing all manner of terrors on my own. I do appreciate your willingness to help. If you happen to meet Kalesa, take caution. She has turned many innocent souls to the path of evil, and darkness has rewarded her with many gifts. Her appearance alone will tell you that. It is warped. The agate skin, the malicious stare of her blood-red eyes, the bestial teeth. She's more monster than elf at this point. We're not going to pass this. We have to roll a 20. What does this Kalesa look like again? Her skin is dark, her hair preternaturally white. Her red eyes can see perfectly in the dark, which, to my dismay, I've come to know from experience. But bright light causes her kind pain. I use an alchemical powder that explodes in a dazzling flash. She cried out as if I had stabbed her. It's clear that this woman is a faithful servant of darkness. The marks that Kalesa's masters have left on her appearance say as much. She's a drow. I'd like to know more about you. I won't hold anything back. Not who I am, why I made my way here, or who it is that I'm pursuing. Tell me more about yourself. Other people tend to believe that identity is the sum of a person's actions and the events that happen to them. For them, I am one of a long line of warriors of Kionin, who since his youth has dedicated himself to hunting evil and injustice. For them, I'm a successful and capable huntsman who has tracked down and slain a great many monsters. But I am an elf, and for me, my identity has a different meaning. It is shaped by the place where I was born, and that I love so deeply. I am shaped by what I find beautiful and what makes my heart quicken, by the fears that come to me in the dead of night, by the things I find so intolerable that at the sight of them, my very core darkens and fills with poison. Thus, to tell you who I am would require many days and much candor. which is more than you and I have at our disposal. But why did you choose to be a hunter of evil? Because I am the son of a noble and proud nation. We are sometimes criticized for our arrogance, but no one dares doubt our honor. When a crime is committed, we cannot turn a blind eye. If we were to abandon our obligation to oppose evil, if we were to surrender this obligation to other races, we would also relinquish our preeminence. Remind me, who is the quarry that brought you to Mendev? I was hunting a fugitive, a Deskerite by the name of Kalesa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors, such as her among my noble kind. And where I got numerous from. I saw the OUS here. Refresh my memory about Kalesa. That miscreant, unfortunately, is of the Elven race. And the blessed shade of Kionin, she swore herself to the faith of Discari, and set out on her criminal path in his name. Darkness rewarded her with great powers and repulsive disfigurement, so she could no longer hide her sins. Kalesa fled here to be closer to her master. I followed her. I have no more questions. As you wish. I have to go. Good fortune to you.
I'm gone.
Let's talk to Anevia, and then we'll head down to the basement to break things up a bit. Actually, let's read this book real quick. Hylor and the Spinner of Nightmares. Book the first of the astonishing exploits of Venture Captain Hylor, published by the Pathfinder Society. The Spinner of Nightmares let out a fiendish laugh, and the wind rose up, sending the sound rippling across the roof of the cavernous temple and off into the darkening sky. You cannot protect them. The demon worshipper performed a graceful pirouette, as though she were mocking the ungainly Venture Captain, who was slowly picking his way across the slippery roof tiles. You may have saved Anthocletus today, but you won't save everyone who gets in my way. You'll always be one step ahead, plunging a dagger into the heart of the next fool, and sullying your path with blood they would never be able to wipe clean. Hylor lost his footing once again. Only by a miracle did he not go plummeting to his death. His heart threatened to beat right out of his chest, but his mind was consumed with a feverish awareness of how close he was to his target. Only a few dozen paces separated him from the Spinner of Nightmares, close enough to shoot, but the Venture Captain wanted to be sure the bolt wouldn't kill her, merely maim and immobilize her. The hand crossbow that Hylor concealed under the folds of his cloak was throwing off his balance. The jig's up, the Spinner of Nightmares. The Venture Captain leaned forward, as though trying to catch his breath. A diversionary tactic designed to weaken the vigilance of the villain, who seemed to be waiting for something on the peak of the roof. You have one chance to save your pathetic life. Surrender now. The Spinner of Nightmares froze, as if considering the captain's words, before lunging forward like a snake and spitting with contempt. You will never see her again. Click, twang. The whistle of the bolt released from its cradle, and the swish of the Spinner of Nightmares' cloak as she dodged the shot, laughing. Hylor let out a bellow, pouring all of his hatred and despair into the shout, dashed forward, and slipped on the roof, tumbled to his knees. Gripping a jagged roof tile with his last remaining strength, the Venture Captain swallowed a grunt of pain and raised his head, only to watch his daughter's abductor be swept away on a black wind. I will find you, the Spinner of Nightmares. Hylor's shout seemed to carry far and wide across the whole of Mendev. I'll find you, and I'll tear out your duplicitous heart.
We do it my way.
We'll speak to Hylor another time. Let's head downstairs. Give my voice a break. Give you guys a break from my voice. So I have a puzzle down here. And I believe it's up, up, and down. Might be all we have to do. Maybe it's this way. I'm pretty sure it's 2 up and 1 down. I could have that backwards.
Follow if you dare.
Alright. We'll do a little trial and error. Alright, so that's all up. It's one down. Two down. There it is. Surrender thy soul, Delvin. Amade, protect us. Ha ha ha, got you again. How many times is that today? Take your jokes and shove 'em, Tiefling. Oh, easy there, Chief. Don't hit me. I found us some goodies. Oh, I didn't identify this. This gives us a +2 to Charisma, as we'll see right there. We also found a note. Yellowed letter. Half a century ago, our parents fled their homeland of Sarkoris, terrified of the invading demons. They were certain that the war would soon be over. They didn't go too far and found their refuge here, in Canabras. They used what little savings they had to build a tavern where any crusader could get a bowl of soup and a good night's rest in exchange for some money, and news about their recent victories. The city looked completely different back then. It was a triumphant city, full of hope, inspiring songs, and brave paladins in shining armor. We praise Our Lady Perlora openly and hope that the lands of our ancestors would be ours again in no time. Things have changed since then, though. Our parents have left to the goddess's halls. Dresden is long gone. The world wound grows deeper every day. The Crusaders seem to take more interest in fighting each other and us townsfolk than in eradicating demons. Overrun has gone mad and now puts all his inquisitive zeal into burning witches. Today, Canabras is a city of fear and suspicion. We even had to hide our altar of the Shimmering Maiden in the basement so they wouldn't accuse us of demon worship. Queen Galfrey has recently appointed Hore the prelate of Canabras. Now nothing will stop this murderer from taking complete control of the city into his hands, and serving his so-called justice on everyone. His previous acts of violence were just the beginning of a full-scale massacre. We have to flee, run like our parents did. This time not from demons, but from the Crusaders. Soon we will sell our tavern and leave, anywhere away from the agony of this endless war. May Pelora protect this city from whatever comes next. 10th of Lamashon, 4682. Swergale family of the Devamai clan.
I'm off.
Hello, Delvin? Go ahead. I'll take too long, though. And hello, Woljif.
Hey, Chief. Hey, Dreamboat, come over here. I want to talk to you about something. Something really important.
The young tiefling sits cross-legged on the floor. He looks relatively calm for someone in shackles, but his tail whips back and forth in agitation. Noticing your attention, tiefling sits up and beckons you over.
Quit bothering the decent people in here, Woljif, or I'll knock your teeth out!
What's it to you, Delvin Dum-Dum? You were told to guard me, and I'm not stopping you. But no one told me I had to shut my trap.
Who are you?
Woljif. Woljif Jefto. I deal in useful things. I can get you whatever you want. Anything. But there's just one problem.
The tiefling rattles his chains and gives you a meaningful look. What do you want from me?
I'll lay it out for you. Simple job, 30 minutes tops. We go someplace, talk to someone, and in return, whatever you want, I'll get it for you. Some extra rations? No problem. Armor, weapons, scrolls, you name it. It's as good as yours. If you need my help with something, whistle and I'll be there. I'm handy enough with knives too, and even my magic know-how isn't too shabby.
What a load of guff! If you were good at magic, you wouldn't be stuck in here now, would you?
Don't you listen to him, Chief. He'd find fault with the Queen herself. I'll be useful to have in battle, and I'll sell whatever you want at a reasonable price. It's your lucky day. You won't meet another gem like me in Canabras.
Why are you in chains?
Does it really matter? Don't get hung up on the past, Chief. Don't look to the future. Live in the here and now.
He was caught thieving.
Your shadow. What was that?
Get me out of here and I'll tell you. And don't worry, it's not contagious.
The tiefling grins and laughs. I can't help you while you're chained up here. How can I free you?
That's easy. You know Irabeth? Feisty looking gal, always wears armor. You can't miss her. She's the meanest fighter in the whole city. When you see her, put in a good word for me, will ya? Tell her there's this guy Woljif locked up for no good reason in the Defender's Heart. Well, for the follies of his youth. And he really wants to get out on bail so he can keep up his good behavior and make a contribution to society. You got that? Will you do it?
Alright. I'll talk to Irabeth about your situation.
I knew I could count on you. Knew it the moment I laid eyes on you.
Woljif grins. We'll talk later. Alright, let's go talk to Ania next. Ania in her muted colors blends almost perfectly into the background. She appears relaxed, but her seemingly unfocused eyes are taking in everything around her, tracking and filtering potential threats. The only tell is the way she drums her fingers on her hip near her weapon sheath. She shows no signs of her injuries and confidently leans on her previously broken leg. She pretends to have just noticed you, even though she watched you approach from afar. Oh, hey. Can they patch me up? Now I can run, jump, or dance a jig if I feel like it. Are there any suspicious places in the city that I should pay attention to? There were a couple spots I wanted to check out. I didn't have time. If there really is a den of cultists there, it would be good if you could swoop in there and bust some heads. You don't even need a search warrant. Ania shoots you a crooked smile. First one is the Silken Thread. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't take any orders and never buys any fabric, but they always seem oh so busy. They're busy with something in there alright, but sewing it ain't. Second one is the alchemy shop, Topaz Solutions. They trade in everything, not just healing potions. Judging by the ingredients they've been buying on the black market, there's something fishy about the alchemical rituals going down in that place. Tell me about yourself. He shrugs with a lazy smile. I'd be happy to, but there's kinda nothing to tell. But what's so interesting about me? Where are you from? Nowhere. I was blown in by the wind and found in a cabbage patch. She stops short. Sorry, that's an old habit of mine. I don't like blabbing about my past. But you saved my skin, so I guess I kinda owe it to you not to clown around, right? I'm from Nidal, and I wouldn't wish my homeland on my worst enemy. You've heard of the place, I'm sure. Ruled by monsters that aren't alive nor dead, and the official religion is the cult of Zon Kuthon. I grew up in a slum, like a weed between the cobblestones. I didn't have a dad, but I had lots of aunts and uncles, my mom's cronies. No prize for guessing the kind of business she was involved in. They gave me a set of lockpicks as soon as I could hold a spoon, and while other kids were picking their noses, I was picking pockets. When I was 12, the monks of the Silent Shroud came for us. Creepy guys with their mouths sewn shut. They're the guards in Nisrock. Mom gave me to her friends. We hid in a secret temple of Desna. I never saw my mom again. I lay low in the temple for the next few years, kept my head down. I washed floors, fetched water, listened to sermons. Funny thing, after a while I started liking Desna's teachings. But as soon as I was old enough, I was out of there. I left Nidal and got as far away as I could. Quite a ragtag group you've got here, from nobles to street thieves. You got that right. Haha. Only the best for you. What do you do if the knights and nobles fail to save the world? The lowlifes are our only hope. How did you meet Irabeth? I was bumming around Temin a while back, doing this and that. Desna Temple sometimes gave me odd jobs. You know, sometimes they needed people with skills like mine. On the surface it was fine, I guess. After Nidal, the freedom of the River Kingdoms should have seemed like heaven. My chance to sit back and enjoy life. But I wasn't happy. There just wasn't any joy in my new life. I was all alone. No one cared about me. I didn't care about anybody either. I struggled to find a reason to drag myself out of bed every morning. Tying a stone around my neck and jumping to the nearest river started to look pretty appealing. And jumping into the nearest river. I think I misread that. One day, I started to follow some fellows who the local authorities suspected were Razmirian spies. I was stupid, made a rookie mistake, and they caught me. It's like my body had already decided to do what my mind had been fighting. It finally put me out of my misery. Get someone else to kill me, because I didn't have the guts to do it myself. They grabbed me. I thought they got me on the spot, but instead they hogtied me and dragged me off. And just like an animal going to the slaughter, my only thought was, let's get this over with. They brought me to their stinking cave, threw me on their altar, and I realized who it was. Kuthites from Nadal. They tracked me down after all those years. But I didn't care anymore. Wouldn't even have cared if they eat me or whatever. We all gotta go sometime, right? So I was lying there, staring at those knives pointed at me, when fate rolled the dice and I hit the jackpot. Irabeth. There she was, storming into the cave. Picture it. I'm lying on an altar with all these knife-wielding maniacs around me, and suddenly Irabeth storms in. I thought it was Amade herself. Fierce in her shining armor with her gleaming sword raised. She made quick work of those scumbags, shot them up just like that. I didn't even have time to blink. She untied me, and then... Nevia's face lights up as she chuckles. She looked through the papers they had on the table. She started swearing like a sailor. So much for Amade, haha. How did you and Irabeth end up in Canabris? After almost becoming a human sacrifice, I knew I never wanted to leave Irabeth's side. Desna knows, I fell for her instantly, and I fell hard. My misery was gone. When Irabeth showed me what was in those papers, proof that the cultists had a nest in her home city, well, I offered to help without a second thought. Nevia smiles warmly. She must have figured I couldn't wait to get my revenge on the cultists. But I didn't give a darn about them. It was her. I'd go anywhere with her, even on a crusade, or to the jaws of a dragon. I took to life in Canabris like a duck to water. I used to be an outcast wherever I went, but half of the crusaders are the same. After all, we'd volunteer to tangle with demons on the edge of the abyss. You gotta either be a goody two-shoes with too much honor and free time, or a misfit with no life out in the normal world with normal people. People come here to run away from their debts, their past, from themselves. So I fit right in. What is it like, living with Irabeth? It's like living. Without her, I wouldn't be. Seriously, if I were alone, I'd definitely be gone by now. Sure, sometimes we argue, can't deny that. Sometimes we bang our fists on the table and yell so loud that the walls shake. But it's all about order business. But at home, well, I'll give you an example. I've kinda always wanted to move out of that broom closet we call a house, and into somewhere cozier. It ain't like they take a vow of poverty at the Eagle Watch. But every month, somehow most of our spare money is spent on Crusader business. Sure, I get mad about it, but Nevia makes a helpless gesture. It's part of why I love her so much. You know, Irabeth has that thing that matters most for a person, a purpose in life. She's always got a reason for whatever she's doing. Her whole life is a crusade, and I just drifted around, like a leaf in the wind, until Desna brought us together. Now she's the meaning of my life. So it really makes no difference if we live in a mansion or under a bush. Thank you for your answers. Thanks for asking. Telling you all this kinda made me feel better. What are your responsibilities in the Eagle Watch? Nevia smiles evasively. Nothing official. I'm not even a knight, you know. I just hang around. You sure you want to know the details? Catching traitors and spies and cultists is no walk in the park. It's a delicate job. You can't always do it all within the letter of the law. What if we surprise some suspicious blighter with an official search? Everyone will know about it before long, starting with their cronies. Then again, sneaking into people's houses at night ain't exactly legal. Crusaders can't be doing stuff like that, can they? Well, I'm not exactly a knight. He trails off. I have to go. Alright, you watch yourself now. Fantastic. Alright, I think we only have this Horgus as well. Let's go and talk to him. 1,000 gold coins for you, just as promised. Help me get back to the surface, and I duly paid you for escorting me. Horgus Squirm always keeps his word. Now, speaking of our future cooperation, Horgus looks at you with unvarnished disapproval, his arms folded across his chest, his foot tapping impatiently. I have a job that would be perfect for someone like you. Naturally, I'll pay generously for your services. But what do you mean, a job for someone like me? For an adventurer ready to sell their soul for booze, then lie down drunk in the gutter. Or do you think you're somehow different? A traveling knight, perhaps? Noble of heart, but without a coin to your name. Horgus sizes you up critically, then sighs and shrugs. You seem a reliable enough ally to me, and you did get me out of those mongrel caves. So why should I care what you do with my money once you've got it? Horgus seems like one of those people who think the entire world owes them something. However, there are notes of hysteria beneath his smug arrogance. It's as though he's really quite nervous but taking great pains to conceal it. Noble birth doesn't give you the right to behave badly. I'd ask that you refrain from such statements in the future. Horgus puts his hands on his hips. Oh really? How impudent. No one dares tell Horgus Gwyrm how to address the rabble. So what does this job involve? You shall be my bodyguard. You see, I have good reason to return to my mansion here in Canabris. I still have... well, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. My mansion is a breathtaking building with a large garden in the wealthy part of the city. Even before the demons attacked, every thief and fraudster in the city had tried to get inside, one way or another. I shudder to imagine the state it's in now. I have little hope that my guards were able to hold the mansion during the attack, and I expect that the servants fled when they saw the demons. Only Abadar knows what's happened there since. Therefore, I'd ask that you meet me at my mansion and guard me there until I complete my business. I already asked the local paladins for help, but they have no desire to set a foot outside this tavern. Darn cowards and traitors, that's what they are. Also, please, do take Camellia with you. I trust that girl more than the rest of your gang. She is of noble birth after all. But what kind of reward are we talking about? 1,000 gold coins, Horgus replies without hesitation. Double the reward, and I'll think about it. We have to roll a 13. Huh, yeah right. For that kind of money, I could hire Queen Galfrey herself to guard me. 1,000 is my final offer. Deal. Marvelous. Most excellent. Horgus's face relaxes, smoothing a few of the tense lines. I'll proceed to my mansion at once and wait for you there. Meanwhile, you needn't worry. I know the city like the back of my hand. But do hurry, unless you want me to lower your reward. Alright, I'm gonna call it here, and next time we'll talk to our companions, Irabeth, and then Woljif once again. And there's a person outside we can talk to as well.
I'm gone.
Oh, and Hylor. Want to forget about him. I think we'll start with Camellia next time. But either way, for now, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.